In a crowded city where noise never slept, there lived a man named Arman. Cars honked, vendors shouted, people argued, but Arman moved through the noise like a shadow, unnoticed and unheard. Arman was not poor. He was not unintelligent. He was not lazy. His only crime was that he was quiet. From childhood, silence had wrapped itself around him like a second skin. While other children fought to be seen and heard, Arman learned to step back. When teachers asked questions, he knew the answers, but his hand stayed down. When classmates mocked him, he smiled weakly and said nothing. People quickly labeled him soft, weak, useless. And slowly, Arman began to believe them. At home, his father often compared him to others. Look at your cousin, confident, fearless, successful. Why are you always afraid to speak? Silence won't feed you in this world. Arman wanted to explain that fear was not a choice. That words felt heavy in his mouth, as if each sentence carried the risk of humiliation. But explaining required speaking, and speaking was the very thing he feared. So he stayed silent. His mother worried quietly. She saw intelligence in his eyes, sadness in his posture, and exhaustion in his forced smiles. But even she did not know how to pull him out of the prison he had built inside his mind. As an adult, Arman found a job in a mid-sized company. He worked harder than most. He arrived early, left late, and completed tasks others avoided. Yet promotions went to louder people. In meetings, Arman saw problems before they happened. He knew how to fix them. But while others spoke confidently, sometimes without logic, he stayed quiet, afraid of being wrong, afraid of being laughed at. One day, a major project failed. The solution Arman had silently carried for weeks would have saved the company millions. But he never spoke. When losses were calculated, blame was placed on lower-level staff. A young employee was fired. Someone Arman knew was innocent. That night, Arman sat alone in his room, staring at the ceiling. For the first time, silence felt heavier than fear. Weeks later, Arman lost his own job. "Your performance lacks leadership," the manager said coldly. "You don't show confidence. We need strong voices here." Strong voices. As if strength lived in volume. Arman walked out of the building carrying a cardboard box, his world collapsing quietly, just like everything else in his life. That evening, he wandered aimlessly until his feet brought him to a river. The water flowed fast, indifferent to human pain. He thought, "I never fought. I never tried. I existed, but I never lived." The idea crept into his mind gently, dangerously gently. If I disappear, nothing changes. Is the water calling you, or are you running from yourself? The voice startled him. An old man stood nearby, leaning on a wooden staff. His eyes were sharp, calm, and deeply aware. Arman didn't respond. The old man continued, "You look like someone who has spent his life apologizing for existing." Something inside Arman cracked. Words spilled out, about fear, silence, failure, regret. About how the world rewarded loudness and punished hesitation. The old man listened without interruption. When Arman finished, the man said softly, "Silence is not your enemy. Fear is." "I won't give you advice," the old man said. "I will give you 3 challenges. If you complete them, your life will change." Arman hesitated, then nodded. "Speak to one stranger tomorrow. Not to impress. Just to exist." The next day, Arman forced himself to ask a shopkeeper about the weather. His voice shook. His heart raced. Nothing terrible happened. The shopkeeper smiled and replied. That night, Arman realized something terrifying and liberating. Fear had lied. Speak when your voice matters, even if it trembles. A few days later, Arman volunteered at a small community center. During a meeting, a poor decision was about to be made. His chest tightened. His hands shook. But this time he spoke. His voice was soft, but clear. His words were thoughtful, but firm. The room went silent. Then someone said, "That actually makes sense." For the first time, people listened. Return to the place where your silence cost someone else. Arman knew what that meant. He went back to his old workplace. He met the employee who had been wrongly blamed and told the truth. He wrote emails. He faced uncomfortable conversations. Some ignored him. Some doubted him. But one senior manager listened. An investigation followed. The truth surfaced. Months passed. Arman found new work, this time in an environment that valued clarity over noise. He didn't become loud. He didn't become aggressive. He became present. He spoke when it mattered. He stayed silent when it didn't. People began to associate his words with weight, not weakness. One evening, he returned to the river. The old man was gone. But Arman no longer needed him. He learned that confidence is not volume, it is certainty. Courage is not fearlessness, it is action despite fear. The world does not ignore quiet people, it ignores invisible ones. And invisibility is a choice we can unlearn. Arman did not change overnight. He did not become someone else. He simply stopped letting fear speak for him. And that changed everything. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to shout to be heard. But you must believe that your voice deserves space. Because the world doesn't silence you. You do, when you choose fear over truth.